anything about SVU. What do you want me to ask her? And she's like, literally the question is, are you still pissed about how Amaro treated you before the divorce?
The answer is yes.
Yeah?
Well, here's what, I don't feel like the writers really did his character a service by making him so unlikable.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, I just feel like, right? I mean, he's such a lovely actor, and it was such hard shoes to fill. Christopher Maloney was such a beloved character for so long. And then all of a sudden they bring him on, and they bring me on, and I'm like a soldier and a mom, and I come back, and it's like, and then he's kind of horrible to me. I felt bad for him. But yeah, I mean, it was, to me, it's like, oh right, I did that show. I can't forget.
What is it like? So you know, it's like the thing with like actors on their way up. Like the big thing is trying to get their like Law and Order.
Yeah.
You know, were you ordered for like 12 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, they called me and asked Warren Light, who, you know, comes from the theater. He did a Sideman. He was the showrunner there for a while, and he called and asked if I would play this character, and he was like, I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. I don't remember how many episodes it ended up being. I think it was, I don't know, I have no idea.
Did you have fun?
I did have fun. It was great. It was hilarious to play a soldier.
Yeah.
You know, in like a white tank top.
Yeah.
Where I was like, if I'm a soldier, we're all screwed.
It was so funny. They had me be on their podcast to talk about an episode. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do one of Laura's episodes, and I didn't know anything about the show, and I just remember the opening shot was like the door opens and you're standing there in your like your army uniform, and the daughter comes running to you, and I started bawling, and I was like, I know her, and that's her daughter. Like I just was a total mess.
That little girl, I don't know who her parents are supposed to be, because she didn't look anything like her. It was so fun. She was so sweet though.
So you're doing a show on TNT?
TBS.
TBS.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my card got wet.
No.
In the
When I in the catastrophe of 2018. Yeah, it's called The Detour. And
it looks like the
it's
funniest thing ever.
really funny. It's Samantha Bee and Jason Jones are the producers of it, and Jason is one of the stars, and it's Natalie Zia, and it's really funny. It's like genuinely funny. I actually watched the first episode last night with my husband. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah, and you play you're like the FBI person.
Well, I play the Postal Inspection Service worker, and so now there's a Hamilton spoof. I don't know if you guys, nobody watches the show, but there was a spoof on Hamilton about the Postal Inspection Service that was in season 2, and it's really, really funny. And yeah, so I play like a postal inspection worker who becomes obsessed with this family, and in season 3 I follow them to Alaska because they're on the run, and it's really, really funny. It's
Is
a really
it
funny
here?
show. No, so when I did season 2, when I was pregnant with Ella, it was here. Sorry, I have fuzzies in my eyes.
You're learning that, so you can do anything.
And then it shot in Calgary. It's set in Alaska, but it shot in Calgary over the summer.
So how will you make that work as like a working mom?
Well, I did. We went to Calgary and we shot
it's done?
it. It's done.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's airing now, but we shot it over the summer.
And are you going to keep working, or are you like in mom mode right now?
No, I mean, I actually think, and this might be a controversial thing to say, but I think I'm a better mom when I'm working.
Yeah. Oh,
Weirdly,
yeah.
where I feel like when I was, I feel like, you know, she's the #1 priority for me now. She's the love of my life. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
I know.
I love her so much. Yeah. And, you know, it is definitely challenging to feel like I'm being the kind of mother I want to be, and also the kind of professional that I want to be, and I a lot of times don't feel like I'm doing anything well, you know.
It's funny, you said you felt tired when I saw you earlier.
So tired.
You look like $1,000,000, and you are like.
I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you.
But it's just, you know, I know the parenting thing, and so I know how exhausting it is.
Yeah.
But you look like you just have it all together.
That is an illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Like I was coming here today, so I did my hair and my makeup, but my husband literally said to me the other day, sometimes I feel like you don't care what you look like.
Patrick!
I know. And I was like, I don't.
Oh, so that's what it's like being married to a straight guy.
Yeah, that is what it's like being married to a straight guy. Where he was like, no, I feel like the only time you dress up is like for work. And sometimes it a little bit hurts my feelings because I want you to like dress up for me. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna happen. But like when I'm home, I look like a crazy person.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are a lot of times where I don't feel like I'm doing anything well. But when I was just home with Ella, and it was just she and I all day, I was not as good of a mom. I don't think I was as patient. I don't think I was as creative with her. It was also earlier days, and I had like really bad depression after she was born because she didn't sleep at all. She had really bad stomach problems, so that was very trying and difficult for me.
I want to ask you all the boring parent questions, but we'll do that later.
No. I mean, I feel like it's an important thing to talk about because I feel like female sort of reproductive issues are sort of taboo in general. That it's this thing that we're all supposed to just like shut up and be quiet about it and just like silently bleed. And it's for me that's part and parcel of a deep-seated misogyny, which led us to have a president who is a garbage monster. I feel like it's important to talk about like postpartum depression and anxiety and about how you know there's all this talk about how to care for a baby, but there's no talk about how to care for a mother. And you know, in our culture, in so many other cultures, everybody rallies around the mother and the baby for a long time. And so the baby and the mother learn each other. And in our culture, you're just supposed to know what you're doing and then have a blowout and Instagram yourselves in matching outfits. And I'm like, fuck that. No. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I apologize. I don't say swears. It makes you sound not smart. But it upsets me. It frustrates me. So it took me a while to be comfortable with the fact that I am a better mom when I'm working.
Yeah.
And I'm a better actress now that I'm a mom. Because I think I have a deeper empathy and a deeper appreciation for the craft. Like in the past, if I had been in a play, I would have woke up, thought about the play, meditated, worked out, like had all this time to just obsess about myself. And now I wake up at 6 in the morning if I'm lucky. I feed her, we go to the coffee shop, like we have all of our things. I don't think about myself until I get to the theater at 7:15.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, oh, I can rest. Like being on stage performing is restful.
Will you miss the structure of that?
I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I miss it so much. I miss the play, I miss my people, I miss Amy. So much. She became such an important part of my life, and that's the hard thing about theater and acting is like it's almost like war, and then it bonds you. So that's a horrible thing to say. War is horrible, and those people are heroes, and we are playing dress up. But it is a thing that bonds you quickly because you have a common goal. So when you're suddenly ripped from your family, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I like went through post-show blues, definitely. But I am relishing having bath time and bedtime with her again. That was really hard not to have those,
I remember I worked at night when Daisy came to us, and I remember I immediately changed my life.
Yeah.
I had to. I could not be there for bedtime.
Yeah, it's hard. The theater schedule is so great because you're with your kid pretty much all day long, which is except for Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays. But like when I was doing the detour, I worked 2 or 3 days a week. And I was gone from her all day, but at least the other days I was just with her all the time. So,
How are you navigating raising her as Laura Benanti's daughter?
Do you like how I'm just holding this? Why have I been holding this cap this entire time?
It's really you put it down the word once.
Yeah. Oh God. How do I? I'm not. I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, okay. So you are in show business.
Sure.
And you are very successful.
Sometimes.
And you're
it
no
comes
person.
and goes.
But the good sides. Do you get to I saw on your Instagram, like you bring her to the theater and she would play with Amy and she gets to meet these people.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits that you're trying to have for her?
Well, I feel like bringing her to the theater and her getting to stand on a stage, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although it did scare me that when the lights hit her, she was like, I was like, you're going to be an engineer. But I don't show her face on Instagram, and it's not. I know I'm not like Madonna or anything, but for me, she didn't choose to be an actress.
Yeah.
So I don't show her whole face. I show parts of her because I don't ever want her to look back and be like, Mom, why would you put that picture of me out there? So
meanwhile, Daisy is front and center on all of my social media posts.
No, she is her in her wig.
I was thinking about how you've said to me that your parents wouldn't let you be a performer when you were young.
Yes, Elle would not be a performer when she was.
No? What if she begs you?
I begged them.
Yeah.
And all it did was make me more creative. Because I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to put on every production in my town and in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sing into the mirror all the like. It made me very creative instead of like a little grown up where I would have to go to the theater 8 times a week and always hit my mark and people swear and you have to grow up really fast. And I want Ella to be a child. And if when she's 18, which is what my deal was with my parents, if when she is 18 she wants to be an actor, then she can do it.
Are you good at saying no?
Thank you. Am I good at saying no?
Yeah. I mean, to your daughter.
Oh man, I'm not good at saying no in general.
Yeah.
And not to be like talking about being a woman constantly, but because I am. I think that comes, I don't know, ladies, if you agree with me, but I feel like sometimes like saying no or sticking up for yourself is extra hard because we're taught to be like nice girls and you don't want to disappoint people. And somehow if a woman says no, she's a bitch, but if a man says no, he's assertive. There's like a lot of those things that I think now we're in this moment where women are like, no thanks.
Yeah.
After centuries upon century of being treated like second-class citizens, we don't want to do that anymore if you don't mind. So what I try to do with Ella is I try not to say no to her too much unless she's in danger.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of like to like stop her from doing something. But now I turn the other, because I heard her going and I turn around and she has her finger in the socket.
Oh my God.
So I've taught her this is the song I sing when I do bad things. So, but she's very like, she's not the kind of baby where if she meets someone, she's like, she sort of stares at them and looks at them. If they try to touch her, she pulls away. And this woman got mad at me and she was like, tell her to like give me a hug goodbye, a stranger. And I was like, no.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I want her to know that her space is her space, her body is her own body.
Yeah.
And she gets to decide what she does with it. Ma'am.
We do a thing with Daisy where we always ask her if we can have kisses. Is there like, give me a kiss?
I like that.
Except she always says no.
You know what? You're going to appreciate that if you.
I know. I get 3 kisses at bedtime and 3 kisses before she leaves. And I'll say to her, baby, can I have a kiss? And she goes, no. I'm like, okay, well, you say no a lot. And she goes, Daddy, you get 3 kisses at bedtime.
That's amazing. She knows the rules.
She does know the rules.
She knows what's up. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I am definitely a sucker for her. She knows how to manipulate me. But I try not to let her do anything that's dangerous, obviously. But I also try to set boundaries where I'm like, at a certain point, you're not allowed to scream that much in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And if you keep screaming, we have to leave.
Yeah.
But it ends. Like, if you throw food, you're done eating.
Yeah.
If you stand up in the bathtub, you're done with your bath.
Yeah.
And if you're screaming in the coffee shop for more than 10 to 15 minutes, you're gonna have to go.
Unless I'm really tired.
Yeah,
then we're gonna
that's
stay. What about like married life as parents? Like, are you guys like, how's that going?
It's hard.
Yeah.
I think it's really challenging. Am I supposed to be like, it's amazing?
No.
Okay. No, I think it's really hard. All of a sudden, there's this little person that you made that you're like, oh my gosh, that person is half me, half you. So that is so beautiful. But there's another person in the house, and I think the dynamics change where, I think sometimes my husband might feel like, what about me?
Yeah.
Because everything revolves around Ella for me, and I have to get better at that.
Yeah.
I think I have to be mindful of like, he was my primary person until she came along, and I need to remember that. And I think sometimes because he's gone all day at his job, I don't know what he does for a living, but he's gone.
Everybody does.
People don't clap for him, so I feel sad. Right? Sorry about it. But, so I think sometimes he doesn't realize how much I do all day. Even though we have, a nanny, I'm there a lot. So I think sometimes when I'm like exhausted, he doesn't understand why. It's why I might be like a little bit more sensitive or a little bit more cranky. And so I think everybody says after the first year it gets better.
Yeah.
So we have 20 days or whatever it is. There's no way to know. Math is not an exact science.
It's so funny because it does get better, but it also gets, like Daisy's almost 4, which means it's like when she's fun, she's super fun, but when she doesn't want to do anything, she reverts right back to being like a baby, So like 1 minute you have a grown up and 1 minute you have a kid that looks like it shouldn't be doing that.
Yes. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, good luck.
I know.
We only have this clock is like ticking down the thing I've been looking forward to for like 9 months, and I want to kick it over.
We still have a lot of time.
Yeah, we do. Well, what do you have coming up? What's happening?
I'm doing concerts with my mom at 54 Below. Thank you. February 20th through the 23rd. And then we're also in San Francisco at Feinstein's there over Mother's Day weekend. And we are at the Kennedy Center. I'm not sure when. And then one other, a few more concerts that I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, right. And then I sold this TV idea to Sony.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So
what is it?
I can't really. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Tell
But so yeah, I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find right now like a showrunner for that show.
I'll do it.
Okay, great,
I'm
perfect,
hired.
done. So that, and then yeah, that's basically it. Being a mom and trying to work on that show and doing the shows with my mom and.
So, okay, a couple questions. So, do you do the concert circuit?
I do.
That? Do you enjoy that?
It's my favorite thing that I do.
Yeah.
Because it's singing, which I love, and then it's telling jokes and just talking to people, which I love.
Does it pay a lot?
No.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah. Nothing in the live arts pays a lot. Yeah.
What do you, and so you're writing TV shows now?
Well, no, I came up with the story and the idea,
Uh-huh.
and I pitched it to them, and I am self-aware enough to realize I don't have enough writing experience.
Uh-huh.
I've written like little small videos like that feminist video I did with Connie Britton. And,
Oh my
Thank
god,
you.
yes.
And like some other stuff like that with my collaborator Ashley Van Buren, but I'm looking for, I need like a seasoned showrunner who's done television shows to really do this.
What does it mean to like have sold it to them? Is it like a development deal?
Yeah, well, no, like they bought the pitch, so meaning like Sony is the studio, and
Yeah.
now we have to go out to networks to pitch it to networks. But before we do that, I need to get somebody who's gonna like really run it. Because also, I couldn't be the kind of mom I want to be if
Yeah.
I was starring in it and writing it and show running it. So I want somebody else to be in control of it, so that I can just be in it and be in Elle's mom.
What about theater? Like, what do you want? What do you
I
want
want to do comedies. I want to do more
Yeah.
plays. I really enjoy doing musicals, obviously more than anything in the world. But a long-running musical is really, really hard. It's challenging, and I have an autoimmune disease, which is like sucks.
Yeah.
And so it's 8 shows a week in a musical for a year. It really is hard for me.
So you like these like sort of shorter runs?
Well, I could do a play for a long time because if you lose your voice, it's okay,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I just feel guilty going to a musical and being like, somebody paid a lot of money for that ticket, and I'd rather them see my like very capable, wonderful understudy
Yeah.
than me like barfing and being terrible, to like try to be a hero about it. So, and it's like the stage door thing is really hard for me because if you're taking a lot of photos with people and signing autographs and shaking hands, it makes me sick so easily.
Yeah.
And now that I have Ella, it's like, if I get sick, she gets sick, and it's like
Yeah.
a whole Russian doll situation of illness. So, for me, like a short musical or like encores or something where
Yeah.
I get to like do something really incredible, but it's not incumbent upon me to be like completely healthy for a year.
Yeah.
Because I can't live in a bubble with my kid.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
yeah.
really can't. And so, in terms of theater, like to do plays, a straight play that's funny is like
Yeah.
where it's at.
I was thinking when you said the stage door that we are at Broadwaycon. Hi, Broadwaycon. This is the stage door. Welcome to the stage door. What do you feel? I feel like stage door culture has evolved so much to the point of like, it's so amazing that theater goers have the opportunity to like
Yeah.
stay and meet Laura freaking Benanti. So how do you enjoy that aspect of it? Like, is it more work for you?
I can't really do it.
Yeah.
I did it for a long time, and I was just constantly sick.
Yeah.
And not because like people are gross, but because I have an autoimmune disease and I have to be really careful. So it makes me sad because I've had some of my happiest moments at stage doors. You get to hear people's stories. You get to hear that, like, you might be having a bad day or you had a bad show and someone can tell you that something you did was meaningful to them.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. It makes me feel like, oh, what I do for a living isn't silly, because sometimes it feels silly. And then when you meet someone who is like, I was going through a really hard time, and then when I saw She Loves Me, I smiled for the first time in months, like that makes me feel really grateful
Yeah.
that that's what we get to do for a living. So I feel sad that I can't do stage doors, but I also sometimes feel a little frustrated that there's this sense of entitlement there, where I'm like, you didn't pay a ticket to have a stage door experience. You paid a ticket to see me in the show, and the people tomorrow paid a ticket to see me in the show. So if I'm sick, then
I gotta go home.
or like if I'm sick for them, it's not fair. So, so there are people who've tweeted some pretty nasty stuff at me.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. That like I don't care about people, and where I'm like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
You know, just because I didn't come out. I try to send out playbills and pre-signs, so if people want them, they can have them. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's that I have to care for myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, self-care is an important thing.
The clock is ticking down. I wanted to ask you, like, what is that you want to share? Like, what is your favorite memory or your favorite experience so far being a mom?
My favorite experience being a mom, I have so many. But when Ella really started giving kisses, it was like kind of changed my life. And the other day I was having a really hard day. I was like really sad about the show closing and feeling like it's funny. Sometimes I feel like I'm not as successful as I'd like to be, or I'm not as successful as some other people, and I should work harder, or what am I doing wrong? And I get into like a really negative space. And Ella and I were on the train, and I had her in one of those carriers, and she was underneath my coat to keep her warm. And I guess I was sort of looking off into the distance, feeling sorry for myself. And Ella grabbed me by my face, and she ran her fingers through my hair, and she went,
oh.
And she kissed me so sweetly, like, Mama, I love you. And it was the most incredible experience I probably have ever had in my life. Other than putting her on my chest after 56 hours of pushing her out of the vagina.
Was it 56 hours?
Yeah.
Are you awake that whole time?
Yeah.
You're like, that's how labor works.
No, it was, and it was
56
it was 3
hours?
Yeah, so I went into labor on a Sunday and she was born on a Tuesday. Exactly. Thank you. That's the kind of response I'm looking for.
I don't want to be too personal, but like, did you do a traditional hospital environment?
Well, I was for 40 hours at home, and then finally I was like, give me the drugs! And I went to the hospital and they gave me the drugs, and then I pushed for 2.5 hours, and they were like, in 30 minutes you're gonna have a C-section. And I was like, no, I'm not.
This is perfect. I'm not doing it.
That's not true. That's not true at all. So that was intense. But that moment was incredible, and it made me realize, like, man, we are just all on this planet for such a short time, and she's growing so quickly. And her empathy in that moment was such a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah.
Where I was like, you are 11 months old and you can tell that I'm sad and you want me to feel better.
Oh my God.
And that made me feel like, well, we have to be doing something right in terms of parenting her. Or she just came out that way.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Can we do, like, for the last minute, can we do like a backward selfie on camera? You guys, this is Laura Benanti.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Everybody wave.
You're not good at this.